Hello, everybody. Hello. How are you guys? This is Chris Barron. I think my head is cut off. It is a bit cut off. This is Chris Barron for what? The 9th of August 2020. It's time for our weekly session. Let's see what's what. Let's see what we're gonna talk about today. Hope you're having a great Sunday as always. Oh, you're having good? You're having a good time? Are you? Okay. Let's see. Tons of messages here on my Facebook group. Okay. Not a lot of activity on the Discord server, but that's fine. I think being summertime, I think a lot of people are actually in vacation mode, so that's totally cool. What we're gonna talk about today, we're gonna do some video, some web design reviews. The reviews are gonna be pretty straightforward. About my Adobe XD course, things are going great. The Adobe XD course has been in the works now for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And I think I'm gonna finish it in about 3 weeks. That would be my goal. Right now I have 3 hours completed, 2 hours and 55 minutes. I'm very happy with it. And in total, the initial version is gonna have anywhere from 8 to 9 hours. Again, that's Adobe XD. And we're gonna do various things, mostly web design. I think that's the best way to go about it. But as usual, in the initial parts of the course, we'll talk about all the tools and features and whatnot. Because I think really Adobe XD is so it's so easy to think it's super straightforward when it's actually not. It has all sorts of quirks, all sorts of things that really confuse you. And if you don't know how to work properly in it, it can actually really annoy you. So we do spend quite some time on that side as well, just doing going through the motions, doing some basic stuff. So that's the Adobe XD course. Again, hopefully it's going to be out in about 3 weeks. And now let's get to some designing. Let's get to some reviewing actually. Some reviewing. Let's share the screen. There you go. Now you should be able to see my screen. So hopefully that's going to be okay. And we're gonna start out pretty basic with something that was just submitted a few hours ago. This is an icon. This is an Android icon for a game, I think, for the popular game Call of Duty, I think. And this, I think, is a waste of time. This is something that you should not do if you don't plan on creating a mockup. Now, a mockup is essential because you can see your icon compared to other ones. And that's because when you see something like this and you can zoom in and you can really see all the details and whatnot, you know, the gradient and whatnot, all those tiny little details, you're fooling yourself. You're showing yourself in the best possible light. It's like, you know, having an Instagram filter on your face all the time, right? What you actually have to do is have a face-to-face meeting, and you can only do that by inserting your design, you know, where everyone else is visible, where all the other similar icons are visible. That's when you see the no filter version, the real version, right? So please don't design anything, don't show anything without first checking how it looks like versus the competition. So that's one friendly reminder. And I've actually seen loads of places here in Romania that actually do they make the exact same mistake. They don't create a mock-up. Imagine, you know, wanting to create a banner behind me, right? Whatever, 5 meters, whatever it's 10 feet, whatever it may be in the American system. And if you don't do a mock-up, how do you know if your text or your graphic is gonna fit? It's not a good approach. The best approach is to first snap a photo, you then measure it, and you find it's whatever, 10 feet or whatever, and then you design your banner at that specific size. Or if you're working in Illustrator or something like that, vector based, what you can do is you can just cut off 1 digit. So instead of whatever 5 meters, you make it 5,000 centimeters. You just make it 500, right? So you just cut something off so it makes sense in your design program, so it's manageable, right? Because obviously your canvas size is going to be absolutely huge if you want to create a banner that's going to be posted on the side of a building or the truck or whatever, right? But that's one easy way to do it. You just remove 1 digit, and that's going to be that. The aspect ratio is still going to make sense. You take the photo, you you place it into Photoshop or whatever, and then you create that mockup, and you can see if it makes sense. You can see if your design elements actually can be seen. So that's something that you really have to do. Now, one more other thing, this type of work is not something that you should be doing. And again, I've spoken to my friend yet again, and again, free pick, I really feel like it's destroying so many careers, because this is not original work. What you see here is not original work. The designer didn't create this from scratch. I've quickly read the chat, and he said, oh, I just combined them and, I made some edits. That's, this is not your design. You can't claim anything, right? Because this is taken, the back, everything is taken. The mere fact that you just assembled them doesn't make you a designer. So this is a total waste of time, and I'm really sorry to see people that are wasting their time. But on the other hand, if you had fun with it, it's the same as whatever, just opening up paint and, just scribbling some things. To me, that's the same thing. Obviously it's a waste of time, but if you have fun with it, then it is what it is. But now let's get into the bread and butter of this design. This is a 5-page contest for only $230, I believe, $250, something like that. Very small prize. Really, really small. $250 should be the minimum for one page, I think. But actually, I think the bare minimum should be $300 to $400 for one page. I think under that, it's not really worth your time. So 5 pages for $250-ish. Well, let's put it like that. If you don't get at least 3 stars on your first submission, you should probably move on. If you get 3 stars and then after probably 2 more versions, you get 4 or 5 stars, then it's fine. But I would not create any more than 5 versions for the homepage. And those 5 versions, I would not spend probably about 7 to 8 hours. That's it. So just bang them out, create a first initial version, and then you create 1 or 2 variations. And then you get 2 or 3 stars, whatever, and then you make another one. Again, you make a few variations, maybe 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour and a half, and then you move on, right? So you don't spend too much time. If it's an easy contest, sure, go ahead, but if not, just move on. So the winning design is this one. So let's have a good look at it. Let's ignore the price, because I think, that's a bit irrelevant, because right now we should focus on the design side alone. So Black Dog Tracks. The canvas size is 1366, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't think there's an active area. It is. No, there isn't. Is there an active area? 1 second. Not really. Oh, we already have some guys here. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so we don't really have an active area. We don't really have anything that's properly aligned. From what I can tell here, it's basically eyeballed. Yeah, you can really see that there was little to no attention to detail here. I mean, the mere fact that these are not aligned to just about any line here, any guide. Yeah, this is a tragedy. From my point of view, this is really, and I think this is actually not even centered. Let's see, 107. Okay, let's check it out here as well. And it's 133. So if you've been following mastered web design in Photoshop, you probably know that this is a clear violation. This is not well executed. So in terms of just Photoshop execution, this is a clear, it has huge flaws. So just because of that, the rating should be about 3 out of 10. The first impression, that's how I would rate it, 3 out of 10. The main menu is completely oversized. The header itself is 150. 150 is totally huge. I mean, I think 120 should be the max nowadays. If you're looking for the modern header, for the modern navigation, I think as low as 80 pixels, and probably 120. So let's see how that would look like. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to design. Let's make it red. Actually, I'm not going to be able to redesign it because that doesn't make any sense. Photoshop is working quite slow. 1366. Okay, so this would be 100, right? So this is a good medium. At the minimum 70, I think this is a bit small, but it may work in certain conditions. And I would say about 130 should be the absolute max. This is 150. So this is totally oversized. The logo, it's one of those things where this is a dead giveaway. If the client wants a huge logo, it's a clear giveaway that you're working with someone that has little to no understanding regarding web design. People think about branding and they think, if I put my logo, just consider this screencast. Imagine if I put my name, on 70% of the screen, right? I could fool myself into thinking, hey, people, they're going to see my logo. They're going to visit my site. They're going to buy my courses, right? The more I show it, the better it's going to be, right? Whereas, what most companies do is they show really a small logo here and there, because the logo is not the actual important bit in the page, right? The product itself is what matters, right? Because again, think about the website. Is this just a presentation website where you just want to, see a few things about the company, the products they offer, various information about them, their size, where they're located and whatnot? Or is this an e-commerce store, right? Is this something where the transaction has to take place? And obviously this is transactional, right? You can see that from the checkout in the top right side, but also because of these products right here. It is a bit odd, to tell you the truth, because, buying tracks, from, for diggers on on a website is a bit odd. I would think this is not the right approach. I would think that, a B2B website would be more suited, without, having a shopping cart. Because again, you can't really approach a B2B business to business website where, you sell diggers or, very, very niche products. You can't expect to have the same approach as you would have for the store that sells bags or whatever, lemonade or whatever, socks and underwear, right? Those are two completely different things. So your layout and your whole messaging, absolutely everything should be different about it. But here, this is a bit odd. To tell you the truth, I don't understand this approach. But going back to it, the logo should not be as big. If this is a transactional website where something has to be purchased, you should let the client actually see the content and actually see the products, right? But if we see here, so let's have a quick look. Where is the first product? So the first call to action is 2000 pixels down. So the user has to scroll 2000 pixels until he sees the first call to action. That's horrendous. That's a tragedy. And again, this is the desktop version. And just so you know, my own website, actually, I have 3 websites right now. All of them have at least 80% mobile traffic. 80%. One of them of us, the Healthy Oatmeal company, has 89% mobile traffic. So obviously, if you resize it and you create a mobile version, if the desktop version, you have to scroll 2000 pixels, the mobile version doesn't make any sense. So this is a clear case for $200, obviously. This is a clear case where you just throw something and hopefully it sticks. The design is not meant to actually be used. Nothing is going to come out of this. So we have to make sure that we are on the same page. This website is not going to actually generate any sales. This is not going to create any business. Well, obviously, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to exaggerate. You may have whatever, $1,000 per month, $3,000 per month, whatever it may be. But that's only a fraction of what it could do. So in case this actually gets coded, this will only do about 10% of its actual potential. right? Considering obviously the company has decent products and decent pricing and whatnot. So when you pay $200 for the designer to actually create something like this, you're gonna get $200 worth, right? If he would have paid $2,000 or $3,000, then this would have been a real project, and then he could obviously maximize his investment. He would have a decent return on his investment. But as it stands, those $200 are completely down the drain. Nothing is gonna come out of this. So again, even if this goes live, it's not gonna do any business whatsoever. It's gonna do at the most 10% of what it could be. And that's, again, let's break it down yet again. The logo is totally oversized. The main menu is totally oversized. This rectangle right here, it's far too big. There's no call to action. There's no unique selling point. Why would you buy from this specific brand? You don't have to start with an assumption that because the user is here, he might as well just buy it from you, right? You know, you see a restaurant down the street, you're hungry, then that's it, right? You're 100% sold, you're gonna be a customer just because the restaurant is there. Obviously, that's not the case. You as a consumer in 2020, you have tons of options. So a unique selling point is it's incredibly important, right? So if you want to hire me as a designer, I would say something like on my website, I would say something like, whatever, I can double your business, I can whatever, something attractive, I can increase your sales, I can increase your revenue, bring your design into 2020, whatever, something that draws the user's attention, right? Why are you here? Why should you invest time? Because this is the entire mindset of the customer, of the visitor. Okay, I'm here, I'm on your website, what should I do? Now, the website should sing. The website from start to finish, it has to keep you here. It has to maintain your attention. Exactly like what I'm doing right now, what a stand-up comedian is doing. If you don't like what a stand-up comedian is doing, you're gonna wait 1 joke, 2 jokes, 3 jokes, and then if you're bored, that's it. You're gonna walk away, you're gonna close Netflix, you're gonna walk out of the club. So it's the same thing here. The website has to maintain your attention, and it can do that through several things. Obviously, a great design, but also certain rules that have to be respected. This right here is a wasted opportunity. This has to say something. The best black dog tracks in Australia, whatever. 5-year warranty for the best diggers in town, right? Something. Because again, for example, let's say I'm the client or you're the client here. Would you pick this specific brand? Why would you pick Black Dog Tracks? What's the motive behind it? So this designer, he just threw something in Photoshop, he just put some photos, some images, and that's that. He didn't actually think about the user's experience. And again, UX, it shouldn't be something complicated. You don't have to think that it's this incredibly complicated thing, because I've seen various courses, and indeed it's so complicated at times with personas and information architecture and low fidelity and high fidelity and whatnot. It's like you need a PhD to actually create a website, right? Where my approach is very basic. Tell me why I should buy from this specific brand. It's as easy as that, and make it easy for me to actually buy something from this brand. But let's move on down and focus on the UI for a bit. That's a poor color choice for that icon. This is again oversized. And again, when you have the option to make 2 lines of text the same width, please do so. It would have been really easy to just decrease the size or decrease the letter spacing, or increase the size of this one or increase the letter spacing, and having it like that would have looked that much better. It's a very simple yet powerful technique. Whenever possible, please make sure you make your text the same width. The hint is a good choice. This is pretty good, I'll give you that. There's no search button per se, and studies show that even though obviously you could click here to actually perform the search, or maybe it's a live search where there's a drop down that comes here, a search button is a much better choice. You will improve click rates if you include the search button. Just the mere fact that it's there, it tells the user subconsciously that he can perform an action there. So I'm 100% on adding a button. Um, let's see what else. This right here should have been significantly smaller because this is not important. And yet again, this is a clear case where the designer didn't think at all about the information at all. So again, in terms of design, this is how it should have been, obviously left aligned. And one of the worst things that you can do is, for example, if you visit my website, just imagine you see my name, Chris Barron. Okay. And what? Chris Barron what? You would assume that what? That I would assume that, so I created that website, right? And I'm gonna plaster my name, in the hero area. I'm gonna create a huge headline, Chris Barron. Why would I assume that most of my visitors know me? That's a huge fallacy. That's a huge pitfall. Don't assume people know the brand. Don't assume, unless you're Coca-Cola or McDonald's, don't assume that people know the brand. So when you say something like welcome to Black Dog Tracks, this is a huge waste of opportunity. This is a waste of space. Again, say something about the brand, the warranty, the quality, the shipping, the prices, whatever. But say something about the product itself. Don't just say Chris Barron, right? 'Cause it doesn't make any sense. And again, if you fail to make these connections, if you fail to cover these points that I'm telling you, obviously to left align and right align things, to set the right size for the logo and whatnot, you can't really expect to make $5,000 per month from your designing. It's not gonna happen, right? If you don't put the effort in, you're gonna be stuck at these $200 contests, and what's likely gonna happen is you're gonna feel burnt out and you're gonna abandon your design work. And it's really a shame because it's not all that difficult. It's not all that difficult. What you do is you look for other websites and you simply steal their headlines. If they say something about whatever, the best rubber or whatever, the 5-year warranty or whatever, just slap that on. And again, the client is going to be much happier. So that's that. Let's move on down. The quality of the photos is fantastic, so I'll give you that. I really like the fact that they go outside this rectangle. I really have to say that I love this particular shade of gray. I think this is a good choice. So obviously we've really, I've really been aggressive about the poor quality of this design, but this is really well done. Shop Now should have been significantly smaller, the text size, and the rectangle should have been significantly larger. I think I spoke last time or 2 times ago about the height, the minimum height, and 34 is not big enough. You should have a much taller button. Find the right tracks. This has nothing, totally nothing. The reviews, they're so awkwardly placed. Usually the reviews would, at least where I would place them, would be here. Okay. In stock, this is pretty okay, but I don't think it's vertically centered. We have 10 pixels here and 16 pixels here. So again, if you can't manage to use the alignment tools. Okay, now tracks brand by brand, and the footer is obviously terrible. And the social media, man, the social media icons, that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. But you know what? This design actually won. So that's the problem. So we have one of our members here, Cucumber. He actually participated in this design, in this contest, and he actually made all 5 pages, which is a mistake. No doubt it's a mistake. You should just create the homepage, and then based on that, if the homepage gets accepted, you get a high rating, then you can move forward, right? So let's see what he did, and let's go ahead. This is it. And immediately, this is incredibly, this is totally improved, 300% better, right? So this is miles and miles ahead. There's no comparison between them. And if that's not obvious, I'm gonna break it down in a second. We might go over 30 minutes, but it's fine. So I'm really happy that Cucumber created a fantastic design. It's really gut-wrenching when you lose to such an inferior design, because Cucumber created something that's about, I would say, about a 7 or 8 out of 10. This is the entire design. So some really strong parts here and there. Could be improved in certain areas, but this is miles ahead of this one, right? So this is this is the type of scenario where you really feel like, you know, nothing is fair, that, you know, the contest is fixed and whatnot, because the difference in quality is night and day. The winner is a 3 out of 10. Cucumber made something, let's call it an 8 out of 10. So how do you bridge that gap? How is this possible? What person in his right mind would choose that ugly design, this one, versus this one? It makes no sense. So this is the type of thing that really infuriates me, and not only me, but loads of designers from all over the world, because it doesn't make any sense. But the great thing about it is the fact that Cucumber can rest assured that if he continues to work, if he continues to participate in design contests, he'll inevitably gonna win. He's gonna make some good money per month by creating websites at this quality. So I'm really happy to say that's the the positive side. I love this cream. I think it's really nice. I think it's a good choice. I don't like this particular photo. This may have come from the brief. No, I don't think so. This is a poor choice in terms of you know, selecting a photo. I love, again, this rectangle here underneath. So the red and cream, they work really well. The cream works well with this subtitle right here, part of the logo actually. The main menu in all caps is fantastic. This is the perfect size if you ask me. Let's check out the active area. The active area is 1200. This is perfect. The total width 1600. That's perfect. This level of contrast, I love it. So again, the cream is exactly how it should be. If you open up the color picker, let's have a quick look. Yeah, this is where we're at. Beautiful. You know, if he just went over here, this would have not been as interesting, right? So the difference in, you know, getting $500 or $800 is exactly that. It's exactly this little difference here, going for gray versus going for cream. It's these little subtle nuances that really make a difference. So I'm really happy that Cucumber went for this color combination. And again, this specific beige or cream or whatever you want to call it works great with this dark gray and with this red. Beautiful stuff. Find track size. It's really important that he included this button. The hint is a bit washed out for my taste. It's a bit too much washed out. It should be a bit darker, but overall it's fine. The checkout is pretty good, even though, again, what I said at the beginning, it doesn't really make sense that this is an e-commerce store, because it's not like you're gonna buy, you know, digger tracks, you know, left and right, like you're gonna buy shopping bags or whatever, the you know, boots or whatever, sneakers or whatever, t-shirts, right? So that's a bit odd, but it is what it is. Now, I would say that this part right here, this empty space, is well sorted. This is good empty space, white space, negative space, whatever you want to call it. It's good breathing room, so I totally agree with that. But here's the part where it doesn't really work all that well. I think this is one of the areas where he came short. He really didn't do a good job, because these seem like toys. Unfortunately, it's not a well thought of area. It's decently executed, but in general, it's not how I would execute it. I think the stroke right here, the 1 pixel stroke, is not a good fit. The fact that he used the same background color is great. It's fantastic, but overall, this part right here is much better. The photos used by this guy at this size, at this level of crispness, these seem like the real deal. These seem like toys. So unfortunately, this is not a well executed area, and I believe this was his downfall. I think this part right here This is where he dropped the ball. Now there's too much empty space right here, and I understand why he made it, because he wanted probably to mirror this part right here. But this seems like a wasted opportunity. Create something, a small text layer, nothing all that big, something, a disclaimer, we provide whatever, the free shipping or whatever, the 5-year warranty, whatever. Very small text, right? Centered, 2 or 3 lines, maybe 14 pixels or 13 pixels, regular, maybe light, and that would have been much, much better. Okay, let's keep on going down. The star rating doesn't make any sense if you don't include the number of reviews. So this is again something where you just didn't think. You focused only on the UI, how it looks, but not how it functions. Right? The number of stars is irrelevant if you don't show the number of reviews. So that's a major mistake in terms of UX. Free shipping, that's great. In stock, pretty good. I would not use this size. I would not use this amount of opacity. I would go for 90% opacity. I think this is around 60 to 70%. And in stock is a bit too big for my taste. I don't agree with this carousel thing. I'm not really sure where he saw that, but you won't see this type of thing in most websites. It's not a modern approach. The price is great. I think that's a good choice. But yeah, overall, the stroke really, it makes it feel outdated. With only minor tweaks here and there, you could have raised this up dramatically. Overall, I'm not changing my point. This is still an 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. The other one is a clear 3 out of 10. But yeah, it's just a shame that you used certain things that really took it down. View more pretty good, but again, a bit too much empty space right here. This part, really clean. Love it. Love it. You should not lower the opacity for the stroke though. Keep it at 100% and maybe make it 2 pixels instead of 1 pixel. This is excellently done. I love the logos. Compared to this other one, this is night and day, so my applause. You can always, this is the thing, this is how I create a design in whatever, 2 hours or whatever. That logo area, you can easily reuse it in all your designs. So the next design you make where you need logos, just use that. Replace the logos and that's it, because it's excellently done. It's very well executed. There's a bit too much space here, so that's a bit problematic, but I agree that it works well with the search. You may want to increase the search so it occupies half of the design, exactly two logos. So this width would have been much better. View mode is pretty good. These should not be red, these should be black, dark gray obviously. This should not be here, this line should not be here. It doesn't make any sense, please don't use it. This should have been thicker, this should be 3 or 4 pixels. And this part is way too small. I understand what you went for, but a bit larger. Just 1 or 2 pixels would have made a big difference. Same with this part right here. Just slightly bigger. And please stop using squared social media icons. Use rounded ones and use ones that are in circles. Circles are a lifesaver. Just use circular ones, exactly like on thislooksgreat.net. And that's I really feel like I should include that in my courses. If you don't use circular, rounded social media icons, you should be whipped. 5 lashes, right, for not using these social media icons. This is the only thing you should do in 2020 in terms of social media icons. Or you could go with a circle that has a stroke and that's it. An empty circle with a stroke. But never use colored social media icons or squared ones. So this is again something that's really awful. Now we have other pages, but overall it's the same thing through and through. You know, great parts here and there, right? For example, this part right here, this is pretty well done. I like the reviews as well, pretty good. But overall, you shouldn't create all the other pages unless the client gives you 5 stars, at least 4 stars, at least 3 stars. My apologies, at least 3 stars for the home page, and he says, okay, please create the other ones. Now, please let me know in the general chat if you have any questions. You look good. Thank you so much, but I have a girlfriend. Why is the font on the headed section so huge? Yeah, no idea about that. This is really odd. Okay. Yeah, I agree. And thank you, Cucumber. Yeah, well, you did a good job, and I'm really happy when I see my student, one of my students, doing well. I think, so many times, I trash designs, but this one was a really good showing, and I think you can really use some of these parts over and over. For example, this part right here, I really love it. Again, I think this is fantastic, right? I think the font used is bang on. I think the all caps is great. It's well, if there's one thing that I would change, it's probably the checkout. I would probably make this red. I would probably include it in something like this, rounded out most likely with a height of about probably 50 or so. So it really stands out. So that would be something that would really improve the overall look. But yeah, that's about it. Please let me know if you have any other questions in the general chat. Otherwise, that's going to be that. But again, I'm so disappointed that this guy won, because it's really not worth anything. It's one of those things where, again, the client just threw money out the door. This is not a good design. It won't ever be used. You know what? Here's the thing, because this is something that I should have said in the freelancing course. Out of 10 freelancing contests, wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, and see how many of those actual designs actually get implemented, right? Look at Edition Guard, look at whatever, ONSI, look at all the designs I won, for example, right? Or, design contests where you participated and you lost. Have a look in 6 months and 12 months and see if the design changed, if the client actually used the design that he bought. And chances are he didn't use it. I would say, conservatively, at least 70% of design competitions, they never materialize. Meaning, okay, we participate, we create website designs, but then that's it, nothing happens. And I would say, let's say about 60 to 70%, let's say 60%, and I would say that about 30% get partially implemented, right? In the sense that, maybe the main menu gets implemented, but that's about that, right? Nothing else. Or maybe this gallery system gets implemented, but nothing else, right? So just small chunks of it. And yeah, that's the situation with freelancing and design competitions. Thank you guys so much. I have to go and run. I have 4.5 kilometers to run on the treadmill, keeping in shape, and then I'm going to go back to my recording and hopefully record some more for the Adobe XD course. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you. Oh, I totally forgot about the contest. Wait, don't leave. I totally forgot about the contest. Please participate in this contest. You can win the mighty sum of $20. $20. Ooh, you can win $20 if you create a social media design with this particular product. Create a 1080 by 1080 canvas and make something interesting for my social media. Make sure you email me at this particular address, and then I'm gonna choose the winner next time. So the next Sunday, the 16th of August, that's when I'm gonna announce the winner. So have some fun with it. It's not about the money, obviously. It's more about practicing. Create something nice, something lovely, email it. I won't give you any feedback. I'm just gonna review them on Sunday. So send probably no more than 3 entries, I would say. I'll probably put a cap on it. No more than 3 entries. Send them to that email address, PNG only, no PSDs. And then, yeah, first of all, you get to practice, and second of all, you may win $20. Yeah. So that's about it. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time on Wednesday. I'm out.